Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back. This is Force here today talking with you about MMO grinding and how it kind of feels like cheating, but not cheating in the sense that you're doing something you're not supposed to. Cheating in the sense that it feels like you're kind of getting an advantage over people who aren't doing it. So let me sort of lay the groundwork here. Let me set up this scenario. In a recent video talking about this game, I mentioned that on my high-level character, who is currently veteran rank 13, I think in this footage I'm 11 or 12 though, I mentioned how I was doing some grinding and how I was enjoying it. Now, from the outside looking in, it sounds insane. Of course it does. And I sort of wanted to take a step back and analyze what was it about this that I'm enjoying? Like, how am I enjoying this more than questing? Which, you know, I'm talking to different NPCs, I'm seeing different locations, I'm being presented with different challenges. What is it that has me enjoying this just as much, if not more, than doing that questing? Well, I think it could be a couple things. In this particular game, there are a lot of quests, and I think eventually you might just get tired of doing that, and so doing something that's different, even though it's the same and that it's monotonous, can be a nice break. There's a couple of things to this. Number one, it is insanely rewarding. So when I was just going through the questing zones, which I need to do anyways because I want to get all of my skill points, you know, that's important, but I realized that there was some time in between when I was going to finish all of those questing zones and actually hitting that max level of VR 14. Because each questing zone gives you roughly a level. I actually found that it's less than a full veteran rank level from my experience at least. Again, I realized there's going to be some layover and I was going to need to get experience in some other form. So I started looking things up and people were suggesting do some PvP, you can do some of the daily quest things, stuff like that. But then I've said, well, why don't I just try regular old grinding? You know, I'm coming from a position of having done that plenty of times in MMOs. I leveled up many characters to max level in the World of Warcraft, and that did include some oh gosh, the days before the AoE nerf when you could just go like mage, priest, and pull giant packs and destroy them like those. It's weird because it's monotonous, but it's rewarding. It's rewarding because of the huge benefit to XP and even sometimes loot. Here in ESO, purples are dropping like rain. It is crazy how many purples I'm getting from doing this. But then there's two other aspects to it. Number one, there's the element of danger. And number two, there's the element of honing your craft. So the danger. Now, you're seeing me tear through these groups of enemies here, but let me tell you, if I slip up even slightly, they will one-shot me. There are enough zombies here. Even a group of 3, if they all get full shots on you, can pretty much kill you. Especially, I'm going with sort of a glass cannon style build, focusing entirely on my damage and not on my defenses, even though I have some defensive abilities. So there's that element of danger when you're pulling so many enemies at once. But then there's the honing the craft, which sort of leads up to you pulling so many enemies at once. Now, when I first started doing this, I just thought, okay, I'm just going to grind this area. So to me, that meant, let me just go from mob to mob. So I would be going into the groups of 2 or 3, killing them as fast as possible, and then moving on to the next group. But then I slowly started to think, well, this would be a lot more rewarding if I could kill many of them at once and then move on. So I decided to start looking into doing some AoE stuff. So I picked up my bow, I used my my dual wielding, which has some good AoE abilities, and then I started to work on this. And then I began with just pulling 2 groups at once, and then 3 groups, and then 4 groups. And that sort of became this process of, let me see how efficient I can be in getting as many enemies together at once before they leash back to their starting spawn locations, or before it just gets out of hand and there's way too many people here for me to manage and I just die if I get within striking distance of them. So that process of sort of going from stumbling over yourself, like, oh, let me kill 1 enemy, 2 enemies, okay, and then slowly, like, you feel like you have mastered this routine. That is very rewarding in and of itself, that process, that growth. Add in the element of danger, add in the fact that it's insanely rewarding for experience. Once again, to reiterate, it would take an entire afternoon for me to get about a level's worth of XP from finishing 1 full questing zone, versus just a couple of hours would get me a full level in doing this AoE grinding. When I'm just left to my own devices and I can go pick up my, like, it is crazy rewarding for experience. It is much faster. Now, once more, you're looking at this and you're saying, but Force, you are literally doing the same thing. You're telling me that you did what we're seeing here for multiple hours straight and that's it? The answer is yes, but I rebut with saying, let's not judge someone's insanity coming from a place of insanity. I mean, really, aren't all video games really just doing the same thing over and over again? I mean, like, how many FPS games have you played where you're not just constantly pulling the right trigger or hitting the left mouse button, all right? How many action RPGs have you played where you're not just constantly hitting your one main attack and then a couple of special abilities over and over again? The difference, of course, being a change in scenery, but listen, all I'm saying here is the crazy shouldn't be calling other people crazy. That's it. Like, what are we doing with our lives? Really? What are we doing? We're sitting in front of screens all day. Come on. We're all crazy here. Let's just enjoy this bucket of crazy together. So yeah, that's sort of the situation. I really want to make this video because I realized in saying that I had been enjoying grinding that it was kind of a weird thing to say. So I wanted to take a step back and analyze why that was. And again, I think it comes down to there's the element of danger. There's the element of honing your craft and perfecting what you're doing, as much so as I can perfect anything. And then there's, of course, the insane rewards of experience and loot. Now, you could also look at this and say, well, Forrest, you're cheating. Like, they're gonna nerf this. Like, what I'm showing you here has been known about for over a year. Like, this AoE grinding spot is well known. It's well documented. If they were gonna nerf it, they would have done it long ago. So I don't feel bad about it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, guys, that is gonna do it for this discussion video. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your input on this topic. Please let me know in the comment section below how you feel about grinding, if you enjoy it. I guess it really depends on the game, to be honest with you. And how you feel about the points that I brought up. I'm sure plenty of people will call me crazy, but that's fine because you're crazy too. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.